And we might choose to um, practice sitting or lying, standing even. And just setting an intention to come into the present moment with kindness, with non-judgment. And just being aware of your motivation for coming into this practice. Why have you shown up here today? And just feel into the heart of this question, this little inquiry as we begin to practice. What's my motivation? Why have I shown up here today? And simply noticing if you're trying to hurry past this inquiry. And seeing if we can absorb the stillness, the peace of this moment. Allowing each moment to fully develop. And having some patience at the beginning of the practice. If our minds are busy, if they're still active with thoughts of what we were doing before. Or any anticipating of the future, what's to come. We can have this patience at the beginning of a practice, sort of almost as a wisdom, really. Meeting whatever we meet as we sit here in stillness. Let's have a sense of the body, the weight of the body on the surfaces that it's resting upon, whether this be the chair or the bed, the floor, our feet. Just being aware of the points of contact. Having this sense of coming home to the body, moving from our thoughts into a more fully embodied experience. Being aware of any sensations, any tingling, any aliveness that we might feel. You might like to scan gently down through the body, starting at the top of the head, allowing the face to soften. We use the face to express our thoughts, express our emotions. So we can actually hold quite a lot of tension in the face. Sense of ease in the throat. Allowing the shoulders to drop. The arms, the hands resting gently in the lap. And being aware, is there any clenching, any tightening, any holding on? And seeing if we can just give up the weight of our body to the surface that we're resting upon, but ultimately to the earth that's holding us. Allowing this stream of awareness to travel down through the torso, the chest, the belly, the pelvis, sitting bones, and all that's contained within the body, the visceral body. Down through the thighs, the lower legs, into the feet. And being aware that if we're meeting any difficulty, any pain, any distress, that this is not a punishment. It's simply a manifestation of sensation, of circumstance. And similarly, that pleasure is not a reward. Again, it's just a manifestation of sensation and circumstance. Seeing if we can be with the body in the wholeness of its experience. And we can also open to any busyness that might be in the mind, any activity, any reactivity. This is simply part of the practice. Noticing what's happening and leading ourselves back to the practice with a gentleness, with a kindness. And we're always trying to practice with an alertness, discipline to the practice. But we're also trying to be easeful, to be gentle with our experience. And being aware of the breath in the body, the breath that's been here all of this time, faithfully returning. Allowing the awareness to settle on the breath. We have these two beautiful anchors for our attention, the body and the breath. And this is the heart of the practice, simply noticing if we have any thoughts and leading ourselves gently back to the breath, back to the body, back to this present moment. Breathe deeply. Let your body sink into the arms of silence. The deep solace of a soul at peace. Stop the world for just one moment and inhale the soothing still. Rest your mind for just one instant and let your breath steer you home. And we're going to begin to bring this short practice to a close, just with a gentleness, no need to rush or hurry. And just saying if we can hold on to our awareness of the present moment as we come to this slight pause, this break in the practice. Just taking a little time to stretch or to move if we need to. Might like a little drink. Okay, so let's come to the second part of the practice if we're all ready, and you may choose to practice in a different position or you may like to practice in the same one. It's entirely up to you. And just allowing the eyes to close or softening the gaze, taking a little time to settle once more. And we always have this permission to look after ourselves and practice. So if we need to move, we can alter our weight. And this practice is going to be a practice called Taking in the Good, which is based on the teachings of Rick Hanson. So we're going to dwell on and savor a positive experience. And there's research to suggest that that we're positively, that we're influenced by visualization, and that bringing this into our practice can be really beneficial. And so let's first of all just ground ourselves once more, feeling the weight of the body, allowing the awareness to drop into the body. And being also aware of the breath. It's breath that connects us to each other, to other people in the world, to other creatures. to the trees, having this sense of us all breathing, the whole world breathing together. So rather than feeling it as our breath, we can have this sense of a universal breath. And the first invitation is to notice, is there something pleasant in your experience right now, in this moment? And this may be something small, like some warmth, a touch of your skin on skin. Maybe there's a softness in the belly, or an inclination of a smile. Just settling on something that feels pleasant, that feels good and resourcing in this present moment. Or maybe it's this connection, this practicing together, which feels pleasant. Just tuning into any aspect of your experience that's pleasant in this moment. Just dwelling on the detail, on the sensations, on the feelings. Just encouraging us to notice that pleasant things exist alongside perhaps the neutral stuff, the more difficult experiences that we might be having. And often the volume of difficulty is turned up. The volume of this is turned up. So leaning into what is pleasant can be really helpful habit to encourage. And if the mind wanders, as minds do, just gently leading it back to the practice. Allowing ourselves to dwell in what is pleasant in our experience in this moment. And the second invitation is to consider a positive experience, something pleasant that has occurred to you in the past. And that might be the very recent past, today or yesterday, or it may be further away. And just finding something which you can dwell on, you can experience. Perhaps someone you've had a deep loving connection with, or an occasion that has felt joyful to you. Just choosing something that has a good emotional tone, many feelings of ease or joy, sense of peace, happiness. And tuning into any details, any sounds, sensations. Just allowing the experience to develop richly if possible. And we're being very mindful of this memory. We're not floating off into the past. We're being mindful of the memory whilst also being embodied. Being aware of the body, being aware of the breath, whilst dwelling on this pleasant experience. And we're just seeing if we can take in the good, taking in the good from this experience. Goodness can so easily wash over us. So we're just taking this time to dwell, to linger, to be with this experience. Sometimes we need to give ourselves permission to allow this goodness in. And you can use all of your senses to bring to life this experience. Sounds, smells, touch, taste, sight. Allowing yourself to rest in the peace of this moment, the stillness. And always remembering that we can return to the breath, to the body, these stable anchors that we have throughout our practice. This feeling of being held by the earth. Taking in the good, taking in any good that might be here, might be available to us, dwelling on the experience. And just for the next few moments, allowing ourselves either to be with this experience, these pleasant sensations, or with the breath, or with the body. And just as we prepare to bring this practice to a close, just being aware of any difference in your experience from the beginning of this practice to how you're feeling now. And this is the practice to notice, to be aware, to be here in this present moment. And when you're ready, bringing this practice to a close.